Hello, this is Captain Joe back to do some science experiments with you today. So thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at lovely crystals, and we'll maybe look at how to make some crystals at home. So I'm just going to start by telling you a wee bit about crystals. This one here is a lovely clear quartz crystal. You can see there it's a rock, but it allows light to pass through it, so you can see through. And quartz is a clear one. You can also have coloured crystals. So this is a green fluorite crystal, and the way that they get their different colours is in the water that passes through them. There can be sometimes minerals trapped in, and different minerals will give different colours. So this may have been copper trapped in the water, and it has turned green. Sometimes you will get red from iron that has maybe rusted, and sulfur maybe give you a yellow colour. So this is a different type of crystal because it's small crystals in a cluster, and this is called a geode, and these are usually found in like a bubble of rock. So you can see that there's rock on that side and the crystal has formed on the inside. So that would usually be in the Earth's crust, and it can take millions of years to form these crystals. And down where the hot lava is flowing, sometimes you'll get something that will cause a bubble in the lava. So either a piece of material or something that will then rot away and leave a gap, or water or gas that gets out, and then it will leave a gap on the inside. So we'll start like this. On the outside it will look like ordinary rock, and then on the inside you can see it forms lovely sparkly crystals, and that's because the pressure and the water that has gotten in and deposited minerals. Sometimes they're salts and they harden when the water leaves, and we're left with these beautiful crystals. So we are going to make some geodes, as these are called, today with salt. Now you can use any kind of salt that you have. This kind of salt, table salt, is very fine. So the crystals that will be made from table salt will be very small crystals. We can also use Himalayan rock salt, which is pink, or you could use sea salt. They tend to have slightly larger crystals. I am going to use some Dead Sea salt. This is Dead Sea salt that is meant for the bath, but we're going to use it as a way to make crystals. And what we're going to use to form the rest of the geode is half an eggshell. So save the eggshells, don't throw them out, and keep these to make your bases for your geode crystal. So first thing you want to do is make up your salt solution. So get an adult to help you. Boil some water, make sure it's nice and hot. When it cools slightly, then take the water and begin to add your salt. Okay, so just add spoonfuls of salt at a time, and as you do that, stir the salt into the water until it stops dissolving. So you'll see when it stops dissolving that some salt will be left at the bottom of the water and no more will dissolve into it. That's called a saturated solution, and that means that as it's warm, no more salt can go into it, so that when it cools down, the water evaporates, the salt will begin to form crystals in the place where you leave it. Okay, so the best way to make that happen is to put some seed crystals inside the egg. So you can use a little bit of PVA glue, and just a paintbrush is what you're going to need, and maybe some water on standby. And I'm just going to use a tiny splash of glitter glue here, just for dramatic effect. You know I like my glitter and things to be sparkly. I also, for different colours of crystals, you can use food colouring or paint to change the colour of the salt in the water. And then when that crystal forms, it will be a nice different colours. So I'm going to do a red one. I've already painted the inside of the eggshell a nice red, looks a bit pinky, and then I've put in some of the glitter glue. Now what I want to do then is on the glitter glue I want to get some of the salt. So take a pinch of salt and put that on the inside of the eggshell so that will give the saturated salt solution something to hang on to so that it will grow crystals. Okay, so some salt in there all the way around on the edges and along the bottom, and then that will give nice edges for, it's called seed crystals. Then when this has cooled a bit, you just pour some of your saturated solution in to the egg and we let that sit. Now it can take maybe 2-3 days before the water starts to evaporate enough and crystals are formed. So this will take time, a lot of patience, but the end result should be nice, with nice crystal geodes. So we're going to check back in a couple of days and see how the crystals are doing. You'll need to make sure that you've got a place to set them, possibly in an egg box that you can close the lid on so that there won't be any dust getting into the crystals, and somewhere that they won't be disturbed. Okay, so plan ahead, make sure you've got all of that in place, and then I'm going to check back and show you how my crystals have done when they are formed. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in a minute.